Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda London. I'm a licensed cognitive behavior therapist and a licensed mental health counselor. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the contents in this channel. I'd like to start by thanking all my subscribers, viewers, all the people who leave me comments in my channel. I really appreciate you all. I really appreciate the passion, the empathy you'll have for these cases, the beautiful discussions we have in the comment channel. Thank you all for keeping it classic. It shows the best of our characters when we do that. So thank you very much. Want to wish everyone a lovely summer vacation or summer weather, even the season. It's beautiful out there. Make the best out of the summer. Winter's around the corner. And I hope everyone is looking after themselves both physically and mentally. Always remember to look after your mental health. Physical health is always mentioned. We're good in reminding each other, but not when it comes to mental health. Today, I'd like to talk about the Idaho quadruple murders that happened on the 13th of November, between the 12th to the 13th of November 2022. 11:52 in the morning, 911 was called because a roommate was found unconscious. One of the surviving roommates in the house called some friends over because obviously it was a horrific murders. 911 said that multiple people were at the scene. They could hear there were multiple people there. So this will be very interesting when the trial starts. I hope Ann Taylor finds out exactly how many people were there and what was said on the call. I'm interested in finding out if anyone touched the bodies, if the victims were moved, if anything was moved from the murder scene. The reason that I ask is those are important questions because the horrific murders happen late night hours, between 4 to 4:20, I believe. 5 past 4 to 4:20. It took 8 hours for 911 to respond to a call that someone was actually unconscious. The coroner said that it was a horrific murder. She said it was bloody, trigger warning, and be aware of that. There's a difference between somebody who's murdered and somebody who's unconscious. Big difference. When you're unconscious, obviously you look like you're sleeping. If you are murdered, trigger warning, with a sharp object or a K-bar knife, I'm sure it's going to be bloody, like the coroner said. So I can't even understand why it took 8 hours. I can't understand why the multiple people who came to the scene couldn't see the difference between an unconscious person and a crime scene, a bloody crime scene. I personally don't believe that, this is my opinion, that they found one unconscious person. Obviously, that's two unconscious persons, allegedly, because Eaton and Zano were on the second floor. So that's two people who were brutally murdered. I'm sure they went upstairs and saw the other two too. I wonder if that part of the case was properly investigated. Because when the officers came to the crime scene, I don't blame the officers. They were told that it was somebody unconscious. Those are ambulance drivers. When you're told somebody's unconscious, you would obviously come to give them first aid to make sure that they're breathing, that their pulse are fine. When I heard, I'm not sure, but 911, the ambulance, I don't know if they came in or if they called the police immediately. But when the police came, they found out it was not one, it was not two, not three, it was a quadruple murder. The crime scene was obviously dealt from there. I remember watching this case from the start, and it took time for the police to cordon off the scene. Evidence could have been lost there. Even the glove that Chris McDonough from the interview room found was a bit later. So I wonder how many things could have got lost in the crime scene, which we've seen in many cases. It happens. The four victims, Kaylee Congalvis, Maddie Morgan, may they rest in peace, Zana Conodle, Ethan Chippen, may they rest in peace. Condolence to their family. It was a tragic, tragic incident. The killer was out on loose. And the university went in mayhem, which you would expect. The mayor of Idaho, Moscow, said it was a crime of passion. But obviously, it's all speculations in the beginning, but what words to choose? I guess he believed it was a crime of passion because a knife was used. A knife is a very, very intimate thing, I think. You're dealing with a person face to face. Knife crimes happen a lot in the UK, unfortunately. And you do see, whether you like it or not, at times it's not that often, but you do see, in London especially, I do see crime scenes, unfortunately. And we know automatically when it is a knife crime, because that is quite common in the UK. Young teenagers, young boys killing each other, gang members killing each other. But one thing I've noticed of that is you will see bloody crime scene. Everything soaked in blood till the police cordon off the scene. So that's one thing I don't buy from the multiple people who call the police. Even a child can see the difference between an unconscious person and a bloody crime scene. Crime by passion was said by the mayor. And then that straight away came into my mind. This is all for it's all speculation, it's for entertainment purpose only. I personally believe that Bryan Koberger is involved. He believes he's involved too. And I'll tell you why. Because he said from the start, have the others been arrested? That means you admitted some kind of guilt. I think Bryan just wants to see how smart he is and if he can outbeat the system. I do believe he was involved. But I don't believe he did it alone. I believe somebody could have got him to do it with them or got him to do it for them. Unless Bryan had his own motive, I don't see any reason why Bryan would have done it. Unless he's having some kinds of a psychosis episode, or unless he is trying to imitate serial killers. Because let's not forget, Bryan Kohberger was a student of Dr. Ramsey. She allegedly said he was a very intelligent student, and so has his teacher apparently in Northampton High School. DeSales University refused to give a comment about him, which that is respectful. In a time like that, nobody should say that he's an excellent student when their four victims were tragically, brutally murdered. Studying crime and justice and criminology, they teach you how to deal with the crime scene. They teach you how to handle evidence. So was all this pre-planned when Christopher Kohberger, took these degrees? I believe he took psychology the first year so that he could get a what's it called, basic understanding of how the human brain works. Or maybe he took that because he was trying to understand himself. Like he said, he couldn't figure all these things happening with him, all these thoughts and all these symptoms, depression, serious, severe depression, and all that. Like I said before, he could have symptoms of, he definitely has symptoms of DID, multiple personality disorder. He could have personality disorders. And with the drug use, that has just increased his chances of getting mental health illnesses. That's my personal opinion. But when I look at it the way the police looks at it, I do understand them. If this man has been 12 times around the area within from June to November, it is fishy. Because he lives in Washington Pullman, it's not like he's coming to play hockey or golf in Idaho, Moscow. So for you to be near those specific victims' house 12 times, that means your radar was on them. I wonder which of the girls he knew, or which of the victims, including Eaton. I wonder if he was. Maybe he believed that he was actually with one of them. If he could be suffering of mental health illnesses, I'm sure even if somebody said hello to him, one of the girls, he could have actually taken it literally into himself that they like me. And maybe the next time he said hello to them and they ignored him, he could take that as betrayal. We don't know what is going up in his mind, but I'm just thinking out loud that he could be suffering of something. And especially now in his alibi that Bryan Kohberger says that he doesn't sleep, he's a night rider and drives around. I don't find nothing. I'm not saying if anyone drives around at night that they have a mental illness, absolutely not. But I'm saying it clearly shows that he has sleep issues or insomnia. He said himself he has severe depression. He spoke about many symptoms that lead to a severe mental illness. And then we know he's had 5 years of addictions of heroin. Another issue to mental illness. So I'm wondering if Bryan Kohberger did this crime alone, or did he get someone else to do it with him? Because he said when he got arrested, did the others get arrested? Who are the others? And now we know, or we've known actually for a couple of months, that 3 other fingerprints were found in the area. One is the glove outside the house. 2 fingerprints were found inside the house. That didn't belong to him, allegedly. So I've heard many people saying, but this was a party house. Of course, it was a party house, but it sounds more like the police doesn't want to say it till the court starts, but it sounds like these were fresh fingerprints for them to have gotten it. So the question is, could those fingerprints have come from the multiple people who came during the day to call law enforcement and 911? Did the roommates have visitors? Could it be possible that some people came over with one of the four victims, either with Zan and Ethan, may they rest in peace, or with Maddie and Kaylee, and things got uncomfortable and maybe the guests were asked to leave, and these are college kids, intoxicated, possibly on drugs. Could they have lashed out? The reason I ask that is because I personally don't believe Bryan Kohberger did this by himself. The timeline, 4 up to when was it? 12, 13, or 16 past 4? He couldn't have taken down 2 victims there, gone up to the steps without being noticed, taken another 2 lives, unfortunately 4 lives, and I've just come out and speed it off. We are focusing and paying attention to the car and the car noise that we are told. But how about if somebody was already waiting inside the house without the girls knowing, and Bryan came on his side? They planned this together. That would make more sense to me. Because look at the different, they say that a K-bar knife or a K-bar knife or military knife was used because the leather sheet of the knife we know has been found in Maddie's bed, but my question is, we've heard that a sharp edge weapon was used for Ethan and Zana. I don't think the same weapon was used. So that shows clearly there has to be somebody else involved in this. Unless Bryan, who has snow vision, and it was dark, couldn't see properly, and then he lost his knife, and then he had brought whatever first sharp weapon from the kitchen and committed the other 2 murders. That could be possible. And he found his knife later and he ran with it and forgot the sheet. That's a possibility I can think of, but it doesn't make sense. Another reason that I say that I believe other people are involved, that it's not only one suspect, with all the movements that was happening that night, it's not going to convince me that it's only Bryan. Everyone in that grub truck video should have been investigated properly. Whatever I personally believe was put in Maddie's mouth could have affected her ability to defend herself. I heard 1 or 2 people saying, oh, it was chewing gum that was put. Why would somebody go hide themselves? Number 9 went literally behind. He waved his hand to someone. He got something off him, came, he looked around, and it's not like Maddie did not know what was happening. I hate to say that.